so cool. That is a like seed from a tree that's come down and it's now planted itself. So cool.
Good morning, guys. So today is a very exciting day, actually a very exciting weekend, because I've literally got the whole weekend booked out to do gardening and get the garden ready for spring. So I have a massive long list of things that I need to do. So I want to jet wash the patio and the garden furniture. I need to organise my plant pots outside, figure out what's going to be going where I'm going to be planting things. I am going to take my pond out because, well, I'll show you exactly what I mean, but it was a kind of DIY project last year that I'm just not super keen on. There's no wildlife or anything in it. So yeah, I'm going to take that out. And also there are some plants around that I'll need to plant up in some pots. And another exciting thing is I also need to dig out some new garden beds. So that's going to be quite a lot of effort, but we're just going to get through it together. And then I'm going to mulch all of the garden beds, including the ones that I dug up last year as well. And I'm also going to add compost and mulch to my blueberry plants. And probably not my trees potted up just yet, just because I have some flowering bulbs and I don't want to kind of suppress those. So we'll probably do that later in the season. Oh, and I also wanted to paint some fences because I've got some new fence panels because some blew away in some of the storms that we had over the winter. So paint those to get those looking the same as all of the others. And then once we've done all of the kind of maintenance garden jobs, that's when we get to plant our seeds for March, which is so exciting. I've literally been waiting for so long to plant these tomato seeds. So super exciting, but let's get the difficult jobs done first. Okay, so I've just moved everything from the patio, apart from a couple of pots down there, but I'll just jet wash around those. We've had a slight hiccup. The jet wash is broken. We've done all of this, but now I'm left with this. So we need to go get a new one. Spoiler alert, but we did not go and get a new jet wash. My mum kindly went and got one for us the following day, so we're going to catch up with that on the Sunday. Here I'm just filling up a big plant pot with some soil so that I can take the plants that are around the pond out and get them planted up into something. Okay, so camera wasn't recording, however, I've just kind of dug up the grass that was along here, turned it over and popped some bark along there, so that no grass or weeds can get through. And I've just lined up the blueberry, raspberry and blackcurrant plants there. Looking a bit better, still haven't got the jet wash. So you can see we're good there, bad here. It's getting dark now, or it's starting to. I think it's about 5:30, but I just think I'm going to dig up the garden bed that's going to go all along here. I've got the onions and garlic there, if you can see, but I think if I dig that up, then I'll be in a good place for tomorrow and I can just finish the jet washing and organise some of these plant pots on the patio. So fast forwarding onto the next day, my lovely mum came round and helped me do the jet washing. And I also finished digging up all of the garden beds. So I'm just going in and adding bone meal to all of them. And then I'm also going to go in and add some compost and some bark to help mulch the beds over the next few months when there's not going to be anything in them. Now that all of the boring jobs are out of the way, the kind of maintenance jobs, we get on to the fun part. So after this, I went ahead and organised the whole entire patio with the plant pots. You'll see that I've trellised some of the planters up almost to make them look like steps, because I thought that that would add some nice dimension into the garden. But I'm super happy with how the entire garden is looking, and I can definitely see it coming together more now. Before I kind of went into this weekend, I was feeling very stressed with the amount of things that I wanted to plant into the garden and the amount of room that I had. I know that that sounds ridiculous. However, other gardeners will realise the stress that comes along with trying to plan your garden and making sure that you can get everything in that you've been thinking about planting all winter long. So I just cannot wait to get sowing some seeds later on in the video and getting the garden of 2025 started. Okay, I've just been checking my spreadsheet. I've gathered all of my seeds so that I'm ready to plant them. My granny and granddad are coming around for coffee and cake, so I think I'm going to plant these later on this evening. So it might be a little bit dark, but we move. Literally going through all of my seeds makes me so happy and excited. I went through and redid my whole gardening spreadsheet the other day, and I've just personalised it to my garden and the kind of conditions that I want to be growing in, e.g. if it's going to be in a pot or if it's going to be in the ground, and then just how to sow that seed too. So what I'm going to be sowing today, I've got some flower seeds to be sowing. So I'm going to sow these into some seed trays or some pots. I've got some cornflower. I've got some coneflower, which is echinacea. And then I've also got some carnations as well. And once these have germinated, I'm going to put them around the bottom of all of my fruit trees, which I'm hoping is going to look so pretty. The first of the herbs that I'm going to be starting from seed this year is basil. And I'm starting these off slightly before all of my other seeds because I'm just going to direct sow all of my other herb seeds out to where they're going to kind of grow for the whole season. Whereas basil, I'm going to start off now as these are going to stay in the greenhouse, I think, with the peppers. And then the last of things to go in seedling trays are some tomatoes. So I'm going to start these off in the greenhouse, probably bring them inside to germinate and then stick them back outside. But I'm so excited to be planting tomatoes. And then finally, I have some seeds, some salad seeds that I'm going to be sowing directly outside now. I've done some research and these things can withstand the temperatures that are outside now in my climate. So I'm going to give it a go and just kind of see where we end up. So I've got some spinach, I've got some spring onions as well. And all of these I'm going to be planting into containers. And I've also got some cress, which is going to live inside. I'm going to bring this into the kitchen for it to grow on the windowsill because this grows all year round. And then I also have two different types of lettuces just because this seed is quite old. I'm going to just sow a bunch of lettuce seeds and hope for the best. And we'll see kind of where we get to. I really wanted to try direct sowing these as opposed to starting them as seedlings because if it can live outside and I don't need to plant it as a seedling, that's going to save me so much time and also space in the greenhouse, as well as on my grow mats because I've only got the one, and I have a few humidity domes, but anything to kind of save on time and space is a win. So to start off the first kind of seeds that I'm going to be sowing in March, I am going to be sowing some lettuce, spinach and some spring onion. Now, I ran out of compost today. I thought I had enough. Turns out I didn't. I feel like I can never have enough. So what I did is I just popped spinach on one side of the container, I put lettuce on the other, and then I put the spring onion seeds around the edge of the container. And I thought that that should hopefully look quite pretty in the container once they start to germinate as well. I have been waiting so long to plant this dahlia ever since I found it in the garden centre. Although I was watching Emma's allotment diaries this morning and she mentioned that you shouldn't plant these out until later on. So I hope that this is going to be okay outside, but I figured if it dies, worst case, I can go and get another one. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this stays alive. So to start with the seeds that are going to be coming back inside with me, I'm starting off some cress, and then I realised how risky I was being with sowing the seeds over my seedling compost. So swiftly popped a lid on that. Now I'm going in and I'm putting up some basil plants, seeds, and hoping that they are going to grow. And then once they germinate, I will pot them up into individual pots and they can stay in the greenhouse. Now I'm just moving on to some flower seeds. I'm quite excited about these. I'm doing echinacea, cornflower, and carnations, and I think I'm going to pop these around the bottom of the planters that my trees are in because I think that will look really pretty. I think that echinacea I'll probably have in a different pot as I believe that that is a perennial. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and plant all of my smaller tomato varieties. Now, I don't actually want any of these in my garden. I'm sowing these for my parents and also my grandparents because I had the seeds left over, so I thought it's better to sow them than them to go to waste. So yeah, just planting these up so that I can give the seedlings away and hopefully they will be enjoyed. And now we're moving on to the most exciting part of March sowing, in my opinion, which is the bigger variety of tomatoes that I'm going to be sowing. I'm going to leave links to the seeds that I got down below. In these last two seed cells, I am sowing some San Marzano tomatoes, which I've never grown before, and I'm so excited because I've watched so many gardening YouTubers who recommend the San Marzano tomato variety for sauces and pasta and things like that, and that is literally all I want my tomatoes for, is to make pasta sauce. Now that we've finished all of our seed sowing for the day, I'm just taking all of the seedlings that I've just sown into the kitchen, popping them on the grow mat and giving them a spritz of some water just to help moisten the soil. Then I'm going ahead and popping some loofah seeds I've already sown back in the humidity dome, popping the lids on, and then I'm going to leave these to germinate for a few days. And these are all of my chilies and peppers, which are coming along nicely. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.